Giant Records was launched in 1990 as a joint venture between Warner Music Group and record executive Irving Azoff. In 1991, the label hired a new president, the popular and fun-loving music exec Charles Minor. As the world watched En Vogue climb the charts, Giant Records realized there was a massive market for female R&B groups, and they wanted a piece of that sweet potato pie. So they enlisted the help of their then president of their black music division, Cassandra Mills, and producer Vassal Binford to create a girl group. Cassandra told the LA Times she wanted a group that was in between the glamorous image of En Vogue and the street image of TLC. She and Vassal sat down and wrote down some guidelines. It had to be a trio because anything bigger than that would be too complex. The women needed to be the same size, in their early to mid-20s, but they would make an exception for a woman that was older and more experienced if she could adapt to their concept. They wanted the women to wear dog tags and boots, and they wanted each woman to be capable of being the lead vocalist. They finally handpicked the perfect trio, consisting of Chicago native Joy Marshall, Angela Slates, and Deborah Mitchell. Combining the first letters of their names, they came up with J.A.D. Joy told I Love Old School Music website there was some chaos in terms of what the label wanted, and Angie and Deborah were dropped from the label. Although they were her friends by that point, Joy decided to continue with the process. Fellow Chicago native Tanya Kelly and Houston native Di Reed were brought into the mix. They added an E in the name of the group and officially became Jade. But just a few years later, everything fell apart.
I had the contract, I had the deal, I sold millions of records, and that dream being snatched away from me in an instant.
And here we are in 2022, 30 years later, and the drama is still piping hot. RRG can exclusively confirm that the group members have been slamming each other with allegations and multiple lawsuits, with the most recent claim being filed in a Texas court in January 2022. When you hear that record scratch, you know things are about to get messy. So bust open a bag of Bacon Ranch popcorn, turkey jerky, or butter toffee peanuts from rrgsnacks.com, our online concession stand that has tons of 5-star reviews. Special thanks to all of our lovely customers who've helped us reach 1,000 orders. You are so appreciated. Now, let's get back into this drama. Because the group wasn't formed organically, it took some time for them to blend their vocals and perfect their stage presence. But in no time, the ladies were pros and ready to take over the globe. Their first step was to garner interest in their 1992 single, I Wanna Love You, which was included on the soundtrack of the film Class Act. The song wasn't a smash hit, but it generated some buzz. Their debut album, Jade to the Max, was released in November 1992, and thanks to their second single, Don't Walk Away, the album was certified platinum.
We did a summer tour, like a summer jam kind of tour, and we were on, I think it was Jade, SWV, Silk, Shy, H-Town, Naughty by Nature. And we toured the whole summer together. That was so much fun.
While the group was busy making appearances and touring, they released the 1993 live album entitled BET's Listening Party, all while things at their label were starting to crack. Tanya told You Know I Got Soul website that every time they came off the road, there would be new staff at the label. She added that in addition to having their own individual issues with Giant Records, the company was built on a shaky foundation. Little did they know, there was some hot, stankin' mess going on at the label's headquarters. In 1993, the LA Times published a rumor that the label's then president, Charles Minor, was caught smashing a woman's cheeks inside his office. And 6 months later, he abruptly resigned. And here's an added piece of music history. 2 years after resigning from Giant Records, 46-year-old Charles was in bed with a woman at his Malibu home when his ex-girlfriend, a 27-year-old exotic dancer named Suzette McClure, hopped in unannounced. In what was described as a crime of passion, Suzette ended Charles's life by firing more than half a dozen bullets through his body and was sentenced to 19 years to life behind bars. Okay, back to Jade. The group appeared on The Jay Leno Show and made an appearance in the 1994 film The Inkwell. That same year, their second album, Mind, Body, and Song, dropped, and it was certified gold. This was around the time Jade realized they had sold millions of records, but they weren't being compensated. To get to the bottom of things, Joy called the royalty department at the label to get more insight on when she would be receiving a payment. And that's when she heard the words recoupment and cross-collateralization. Recoupment in the music industry is when a record label pays for an artist's expenses, such as for recording and marketing, and later deducts an equal amount from the artist's royalties, which are usually between 15% and 20% of sales revenue. Cross-collateralization is a clause in recording and publishing contracts that allows a record label or publishing company to recoup outstanding advances from one album with other revenue sources and follow-up releases. So, in other words, during the phone call with the royalty department, Joy was told,
"You are never going to see a dime of all the millions of records that you sold for this label. You're not getting a penny."
But not only that, on the heels of re-signing distribution deals with Warner Music Group in the US and BMG internationally, Giant Records changed its name to Revolution Records. In an interview with Billboard magazine, it was reported that 50% of the staff was fired during the transition. Irving Azoff stated that 30 of Giant's artists were being signed over to Revolution, including Color Me Badd and the DOC. But unfortunately, Jade didn't make the cut. Their time was up. In February 1995, the trio disbanded. They went from performing with Sting to looking for jobs. The rug pull was so drastic that Joy had a hard time trying to process what happened. She told You Know I Got Soul website, "It's a blow to everything you know when you look around and they've got money and you don't. It can take a toll." They had worked consistently for Giant Records for 3 years, and when they were forced to leave the label, Joy didn't have enough money to pay her rent and her bills. She got in the same car she had from before they got famous and drove off into the sunset. Joy got a job in the law department of an entertainment company. Throughout the years, she realized there was a knowledge gap that separated her from her dreams, and she set out to enlighten other budding artists about the industry in her book entitled Answers to the 20 Most Asked Questions About the Music Business. We've linked the book for you in our description box. Joy also launched a solo career and released several songs and a gospel album in 2007. Tanya recorded songs for Disney movie soundtracks and eventually became an interior designer for A-list celebrities, while Di went on the road to sing backup for Rod Stewart, Stevie Wonder, and Usher, to name a few.
Don't hang around. It's been a long time.
They flirted with the idea of reuniting as Jade, and in 2013, they really got the ball rolling. Joy and Tanya contacted Di about planning a reunion, but in court docs obtained by RRG, Joy and Tanya stated that Di was too unreliable, while Di claimed she was busy on tour with Rod Stewart. So Joy and Tanya hired Miracle Holloway, a former contestant on The Voice, to take Di's place, and they released a song called Baby Love in 2014. In 2019, Di renewed the Jade trademark and added Tanya and Joy as co-owners. The business move meant all 3 members would be legally entitled to the name and the profits. 2 years later, Joy and Tanya reached out to Di again about a possible reunion, and in court docs obtained by RRG, claimed that Di was, quote, non-responsive to these offers. Di told a different story to the Houston Chronicle. She said she was in contact with Tanya, and Tanya told her she didn't want to work with Joy anymore. Di and Tanya discussed doing shows together, and they even made plans to take photos and exchange music ideas. So Di basically admitted she was fine with the 2 of them moving forward without Joy. But then the tables turned. In July 2021, while Di was caring for her grandmother, she was blindsided when someone sent her a flyer for a 90s kickback tour featuring Jade. And it listed the members as Joy, Tanya, and Miracle. Di told the Houston Chronicle she tried to reach out, but Tanya and Joy stopped answering her texts and emails. Di added, "I guess they found a loophole where they're legally able to use the name. But just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it." Their promoter got Joy, Tanya, and Miracle a spot on iHeartRadio to promote the upcoming concerts. And in court docs, Di claimed she reached out to the promoter and expressed her interest in performing with the group. When that didn't work, Di sent the promoter a cease and desist to stop Joy and Tanya's contractual involvement with the promotion company. Di is also accused of calling Joy and Tanya's agent and reaching out to Miracle to convince them to no longer do business with Joy and Tanya. Di allegedly contacted radio stations and told them the ladies had no rights to the Jade trademark. Days ahead of Jade's performance at the Houston leg of the 90s Kickback Tour, Di was blindsided once again when she realized Joy, Tanya, and Miracle had launched a new Instagram called Ladies of Jade. RRG can confirm that the Instagram account doesn't mention Di at all. Based on videos posted on YouTube, Joy, Tanya, and Miracle moved forward with performing on the 90s Kickback Tour. And instead of trying to put a stop to it behind the scenes, Di took the matter to court. RRG can exclusively confirm that Di's suit was filed on December 2, 2021 in the U.S. District Court, Southern District of Texas, against Joy, Tanya, Miracle, their promoter, and the promoter's company. In court docs, Di claimed the defendants were wrongfully using the Jade trademark by not including her in any portion of the profits they've received. And in January 2022, Joy and Tanya filed a counterclaim. In their suit, they stated as a result of Di calling around and telling people not to do business with them, their promoter hasn't invited them to participate in more shows, and they have lost opportunities for future performances. Di filed a motion to dismiss the counterclaim. However, her motion to dismiss the countersuit was denied. As of this video, it appears that the lawsuits are still in limbo. We're a bit disappointed that the ladies are beefing like this when they could be joining forces to make beautiful music together. And if the three original members can't work things out, we're afraid that this is one nostalgic 90s act that will have to leave in the past.